I was contacted by the team at Lucky Harvey and I had questions. Who is Harvey and why is he lucky was two of those. Another one was, what is this brand and its watches I've never heard of? Describing themselves as a Chinese fashion watch brand that aims at something they describe as fun, play, watch is once again puzzling. That said, the watch was quite fascinating, so I said to myself, why not? And then forgot all about it. It was then quite surprising to receive something that presents itself like a very high quality watch with features rarely seen in this price range. Take for instance a chiming function, which Christopher Ward brought to life in their recent release after being a feature that was largely confined to German and a few Swiss watches to date, with a price tag that was uninviting. You get that chiming function here and it's lovely. A big date that makes at least me think of Erlang and Sona, also here. A machine guilloche pattern which is intriguing and nicely made, yep, here also. Loom, a decent border resistance, an automatic movement, nicely made bracelet, check, check and check. If you're still watching at this point, I'm guessing you're as curious as I was, so let's get stuck into Lucky Harvey and the Striking Watch. I would like to start as per usual with the sizing. The diameter of the fixed bezel is 40mm. Getting a measurement between the buttons and the opposite side is about 41, but really this wears like a 42 or even a 43 watch. The integrated design bracelet tapers from about 26 down to 18mm. The lug-to-lug is about 47mm and is 12.2mm thick including the crystal. It weighs in at 150 gram size for me, and we have a 50m water resistance. So overall, it's very manageable all around, and due to the fixed bezel, ample attention is given to this striking dial. The brand is quite upfront about not having an old expert artisan engraving these guilloche dials, but instead specifying modern techniques to achieve this. If you're looking for flaws, the reality is that using machines gets you a dial with less flaws than handcrafted. But of course, you are not supporting craftsmanship as such, but if you want to do that, you need to bust out the long-suffering credit card since it doesn't come cheap. This watery, almost angry pattern deserves the model name of striking alone, since it is indeed that, and catches the light beautifully. The applied indices are all very good, and whilst it is easy to pick flaws on the macro, I'm yet to film any watch other than Grand Seiko that have perfect indices. The big date function sitting at 12 is in my opinion brilliant. Super easy to adjust, which I'll return to, and legibility is second to none. If your Grail watch is an Erlang and Sona one like me, you have likely drooled over the Sightwerk in the past, and this is a pretty good compromise at almost exactly 1.5% of the cost. At the 4 o'clock mark is where you see something that resembles a date complication, but is in fact the off and on indicator of the hourly chime. And at just above the 6th position, we get possibly what could be yours and my only issue with the watch, as in the brand name. Lucky Harvey sounds like an NPC out of a video game, or a one-shot comic book character destined for a bad ending. This is a matter of taste of course, and when you hold this watch in person, it will win you over regardless. It feels and acts like a luxury piece. So other than the sword-shaped polished hands and a discreet 1 to 60 on a small retort, that is this impressive dial covered off. So what about this big date and the chime and the buttons on the side? Well, firstly, the top button moves the date upwards, nice and quick and a lovely feel. The bottom button turns the chime off and on with a charming chime when you turn it back on to confirm it's engaged. It's a great sound too, and you can expect to hear this at every hour. It's not loud and it's not quiet. It's exactly what you would expect a mechanical chime to sound like, and I like it very much. As the team stated, this required extensive experimentation and tuning to achieve the perfect chime. There is a lovely YouTube clip of what it looks like, which I've linked up in the description below. The case is a combination of polished and brushed and all 316L stainless steel. It's a classic Genta style design that you've seen before, but I can attest to it being an excellent quality implementation. And that extends to these buttons, which have a fantastic mechanical feel. You can feel the spring and action within, and it's fascinating to watch and sense. The push-pull crown is signed with an H logo, which would have been a nice pared-down version to use on the dial also. It does remind me a little bit of the Hasselblad logo, which is a good bit of inspiration to take, of course. Interestingly, the hands will only move in one direction, as in forward. Twisting the crown backwards fills no function. The back of the watch has some specs and a wave pattern of the chime sound. Behind this hides the in-house developed LH003 movement with a power reserve of 40 hours, 28,800 vibrations per hour, 32 joules, and again is an automatic movement. I can't tell you much more than that, but I guess the only concern is what would happen come service time, where I suspect sending it back to Guangzhou is the safest bet. The brushed and polished bracelet is comfortable to wear, very attractive, and screw pins for easy adjustment. These scissor clasps are in my opinion a bit annoying to open and fasten, but make sense in this design, and they of course look extremely cohesive when closed up. The H logo and brand name are a discreet detail at the opening of the clasp. So unlike many of these dressier types of watches, we do indeed get some decent lume here, which is fun. A friend of mine once described Guilloche dials rather rudely, which I'll pre-warn you now about, as an inflamed sphincter. Whilst that's unfortunately stuck in my mind, they are quite incredible designs, and this is my favorite pattern to date. It is incredibly striking in person, and the chime and date function is brilliant. All this can be yours for $1,199 US, which is a good deal less than another brand's effort in the Christopher Ward chiming watch, that whilst quite eye-catching and fun, will set you back twice this amount, and you don't get the big date complication. China is pushing out better and better products at affordable pricing. Just look at the camera lenses from 7 Artisan, for instance, which are incredible at the price and are incorporating old-fashioned and experimental approaches to classic designs. If you're in the I would never buy a Chinese watch club, then I think you should wake up to where the majority of luxury items are either wholly or partially made. And may I also restate that behind these passion projects are real people with families, just like you and me. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll catch you next time.